Okay, with that, we will move on to item 13C.
Item 13C, request of Councilmember McCune that in light of the recent legal settlement between Village Trailer Park residents and the developers of the Village Trailer Park property, that the council direct staff to explore options for allowing remaining Village Trailer Park residents to relocate to the city's Mountain View Mobile Home Park, allowing them to remain residents of our community outside of any obligations or constraints in the development agreement for the Village Trailer Park property, simply waiving any city deadlines contained therein. There are 3 requests to speak.
Councilmember McCune.
And given the enthusiastic consensus I felt about the question of, avoiding homelessness, I don't think this will be a difficult one. When we adopted the development agreement for the Village Trailer Park, it incorporated a deadline by which people who live there had to ask to be moved over to Mountain View. There has now been a legal settlement that takes care of all the issues surrounding the development agreement, at least as far as we're concerned. I'm not asking that we in any way amend the development agreement or anything having to do with it. This would just be a public statement by the council and the city that indeed for those people who are being displaced from Village Trailer Park, the door is open at Mountain View to the extent that there are places available. Now, I think staff is going to tell us that we don't really need to do this because these are displaced people who are eligible for housing, and I fully understand that. It also may be that there's no immediate place open. There are certainly constraints on income qualification and all, and none of that would be changed by this motion. This is just making a public statement that you Village Trailer Park people are part of us, and we would welcome you to stay in Santa Monica.
Okay, thank you. I'll open the public input portion of the item. We have 3 speakers. We have Calvin Nomore, followed by Todd Flora, and then Ken Ward.
Mayor O'Connor, Mayor Pro Tempore O'Day, and council members, I urge you strongly to support this request. The legal agreement that the settlement that has been reached between Caldin and essentially myself, but myself acting for others, substantially changes the incentives and the opportunities available to members of the park community. The January 6th deadline came at a very bad moment. We were engaged in a legal struggle. People were confused. Many had to make a choice. They had no idea whether or not it would be the best one. And those who did not make that choice, who amounted to almost a quarter of the park, were simply told that they would be given $20,000 and told to go away. Both DinCal and I feel very strongly, I believe, that there's absolutely no reason for that deadline. And that if it is possible for people now to rethink their choices and to choose otherwise, we would be very happy to have council make that possible. Thank you.
Thanks. And our next speaker is Todd Flora.
Good evening, everybody. Todd Flora, 2718 Arizona Avenue. I am chair of the Rent Board, but I'm here tonight to speak in favor of the motion as private citizen Flora. I'm somebody that has my own unfortunate history of really, I think, affecting adversely the lives of the very special folks at the Village Trailer Park. And I really think that it's a very important motion, a very important statement to make, not only to these folks who've been through, quite frankly, enough, but it's something that the developer, I think, really needs to hear. I'll really leave it at that. But I think there have been a lot of promises made and a lot of promises shifted, and I think it would be a good thing for this body to, at least, at the very least, do this much and make this very important statement for these folks. It's, I think, the least we can do. Thank you.
Thanks. And Ken Ward?
Good evening, council members, mayor, staff. Ken Ward, Mountain View resident, close to approximately 30 years. As one of the board of directors of Mountain View Mobile and Residents Association, again, I would like to welcome any of the new residents from Village Trailer Park to our little community. I am glad that they will have a chance to become owners in our park and not be forced to be renting their homes. Again, I would like to remind council, because the city owns the park, we do not have full rights as those who live in more city-owned units like apartments. We also cannot go to the city attorney's office, to consumer affairs, if we have a problem with the landlord. As we were promised, the city will be selling the park by December this year. We residents can't wait for this to happen. And again, we really welcome the residents from Village Trailer Park to our community. It will be a wonderful, the last park around. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ward. That concludes the public input on this item. Councilmember McCune.
I'll just make the motion that we direct staff to explore options for allowing the remaining Village Trailer Park residents to relocate to the city's Mountain View Mobile Home Park.
Okay, is there a second? Second. A second by Councilmember Vasquez. Is there any discussion?
And just,
Mayor Pro Tem O'Day.
looking to understand, so what I heard in your description of the item was that we were looking to make a statement about this, but what I hear now in the motion is that we're just directing staff to explore options. So
The motion makes the statement. I don't think we need to buy a display ad in the newspaper to say that we welcome people who live in Santa Monica to stay in Santa Monica. We just need to direct staff to explore these options so this might happen. That is the statement.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll look, so staff, right, right, or housing staff, right. So what would be the process? Since we obviously should get some clarification here.
Hi, Barbara Collins, Housing Manager. If council directs staff to explore additional space for the residents at VTP, we can move forward with that exploration. It is a complicated process in terms of eligibility. We have deed restrictions and regulations. We'll have to look at the issue of actual additional relocation benefits and how that impacts all of that. There's additional issues that we may have to explore in terms of adjusting plot lines within the park, and that may be a process whereby we have to go to Rent Control Board and negotiate individually for existing residents in the park. So it may not be an entirely quick process because not all spaces in the park are free and clear. And currently we've already approved for 13 residents to be moving to the park. The other thing that I think we would want to suggest or explore with council is a deadline date by which the residents of the Village Trailer Park may have to explore that option. If that date is left open indefinitely, then the 3,300 people that are on our existing wait list would not be eligible to be pulled for those units until we ruled out or explored that option. So I might suggest that council consider a deadline date whereby the individuals would be strongly encouraged to explore their options at Mountain View.
So given the complications, you noted what would be a reasonable date?
Well, I think we'd probably have to start with a point whereby we would say to people anyone who was interested needed to contact us to get an application and provide their documentation. So I anticipate that's usually a 30-day process depending on how many people would be applying and the resources we have available in-house to process that. So I understand that the developer is eager to move forward with the DA at that site as well, and that's been part of the reason why residents were encouraged to select. But I think probably we could come back to council if you desire within 30 days to say where we would be and where the recommendations would be.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember McCune?
If I may, so then you'd come back in 30 days to suggest to us when the deadline had to be. I'm hesitant. I don't want to place a deadline on people who are under the amount of stress that the residents of Village Trailer Park are under right now until I understand better. This is why I made the motions, council, to explore it, because I know there are complications and I know it's a difficult thing. But the motion, again, is not, yes, let them move in tomorrow. The motion is to ask staff to explore it.
Okay, so understanding too that so what you're saying is we don't want the expectation out there as you note, that this would be an easy process or it would happen
Right.
quickly. But also, if we move forward on it, there would be sometimes certain where people would have to
And I think that's
file an
absolutely
application,
fair,
et
as
cetera.
long as we make it an adequate
A
amount of
reasonable,
time.
right, right. And at that point, too, we'd be discussing what kind of outreach to make sure that the information got to everybody who was concerned. Okay, so thank you very much. You want to
One other question that I might ask for clarity on would be whether or not the pursuit from Village to Mountain View would be including that those residents would be coming with a new manufactured unit that they would be purchasing either through the developer or independently through the manufacturer that met the criteria, and that it not be that the city would be exploring purchasing those units.
If I may, I think we're all trying to figure out exactly what the fairly recent settlement is going to mean in terms of the benefits these people get. Apparently, there is some significant ability for them to purchase units. Now, if they purchase the units that we've pre-approved, that would solve the problem. Again, this is something I would hope staff would explore, and I don't think council is empowered or enabled to make that decision tonight because we don't have the information yet.
Right, no,
But that's included in the exploration,
right.
certainly.
But you're not positing that the city would be buying the units.
No.
Right, okay. I think that was
Thank you.
clarification that we got. Okay, great. So we have that motion by Councilmember McCune, second by Councilmember Vasquez. Is there any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And I think I heard everyone. Anyone opposed? I don't hear anyone, so that was unanimous. Okay, this was a special meeting, so that concludes the items on the agenda. We do not have the general public input because it's a special meeting. Council members, I do have two adjournments. First of all, adjourning in memory of Estella Armstrong Albert. She was the mother of Lynn Caldwell, and Ms. Caldwell is the assistant to Dr. Sang of Santa Monica College. And Ms. Albert was 87 of Prentice, Mississippi, and she passed away on February 10th. Estella married and moved to Chicago, Illinois in her early 20s. She was a dedicated, hardworking employee of Montgomery Ward for 49 years. She was a faithful, loyal member of the Greater Mount Moriah Missionary Baptist Church in Chicago. And Estella was an advocate for higher education, serving on many boards and commissions involved in raising college scholarships for needy students. And again, the City Council and City of Santa Monica, we extend our condolences to the family of Estella Armstrong Albert and to her daughter, Ms. Lynn Caldwell. Then the other adjournment is in memory of Joseph McNeil, a former city employee and a beloved member of our community. And Joseph McNeil passed away on February 25th. Joseph was born in Santa Monica and received his formal education in the Santa Monica public school system at Santa Monica College as well as Long Beach State University. And as a young adult, Joe participated in the Cedars Work Placement Program at Santa Monica Civic Auditorium as an event attendant and worked his way up to supervisor throughout his 27-year tenure with the City of Santa Monica. Joseph McNeil gave to the community tirelessly, and he cared deeply about people, and especially the people in Santa Monica. So again, the Council of the City of Santa Monica, we extend our condolences to the family of Joseph McNeil. If there are no other adjournments, we will be adjourned. Our next meeting is next week, next Tuesday, March 25th. Okay, thank you. We're adjourned. Okay,
She found a cell phone.
Bring your binders home.